It's been equated, right? Is the universal form of the Lord same as the impersonal form of the Lord? If it's not, then why is equated it? So who would like to answer? The question is clear? Have you understood the question? One more time, now repeat. Someone is still lost. Well, already got the answer. That's fantastic. Okay, but before you answer, you have to rephrase the question so that others will be tuned in. Where's the microphone? Yeah.
There's 2 microphones.
There's one over there, which you can't have 2.
I think the question is, why is the impersonal form? Why is the universal form called the impersonal form within matter?
Yes.
I think the reason for that is we in the class, Srila Samrit Maharaj said that it's the imaginary form.
Correct.
So it's not a real.
Can you hold it a little closer, Prabhu?
The universal form is not a real form. It's an imaginary form. And I think he was saying that the sun is considered to be the eyes, and like that the different parts of the material universe are considered to be different parts of Krishna's body. But that's not a real form, it's imaginary. So it can be said that it's because it extends the whole of the material universe, it can be considered as an impersonal form within the material universe.
Right.
The other impersonal form in the spiritual universe is the Brahma Jyoti.
Very good. Very good answer. The take one, we both got one. You can keep it. Now give it back to him. Let him. He has not finished. She has not finished. He has not finished. Let's just continue. Yeah.
So Prabhu, it means that the universal form is impersonal form within material universe, and Brahma Jyoti is the impersonal form in the spiritual universe.
Yes, that's what he's saying. Huh? Correct? Agree? Okay. You happy with the answer? Anyone like to add anything to that or any other points? Nothing? Prabhu has said no, I just have to say something. That's why I'm asking you specifically. Okay, VIjay is discussing.
Prabhu, that Brahma Jyoti, isn't it between material world and the spiritual world?
Correct, but still it extends beyond the material world. It's not in the material world. Not adbhasheta suryana shashanka. It's that animatante tadbham paramama. 15th chapter Krishna is going to tell us that this is extending beyond the material world. Yeah. Srimani Prabhu.
Prabhu, just so if you are saying that so certainly the Virat roop, form of the Lord is a temporary form. It is a temporary form. It exists in the material world, but still we are able to see His form over there. So why would it be impersonal as we can see the form of the Lord? So why would we say it's an impersonal form?
Not out of the hook yet. Good answer. Take it further.
I think the impersonal form, Krishna showed that to Arjuna only for proof. He has never showed that before to anybody. So nobody has ever seen that. So it's actually an imaginary form. But Krishna manifested it just for the sake of proving to Arjuna and proving to the whole world that is one of his forms. So, but actually it's considered to be imaginary.
So your question is, you are able to see it, so how can it be imaginary? Yeah, see, just like you watch a movie, you see someone running. It's actually molecules and pixels moving from the screen. Not really, it's a reflection of the light. You think, oh, someone is really running, not really running. But you see the picture. But in the picture you are convinced that someone is running. And someone is sitting, someone is shouting, someone is talking. All these things are there. They are visible, but they are imaginary. Because you see, what happens is, like you said, the impersonal form and the eye and the sun and the moon are like the eyes of the Lord. The trees are like the hairs on His body. Okay. Now that is using matter to represent the Supreme. But it's not only imaginary, it's also temporary. It's true.
I don't want to.
Give the mic here. Give the microphone.
I think I'm thinking of the example which you gave. Like the person who is in the jail has to explain in a way that what are the things are in the jail, and when he goes out, so he has to, in the perspective of what is surrounding, the answer is being given in like that. So the trees and the sun and the moon and everything is the same answer like what is around us
in terms of
what we can see and everything.
Yeah, that's right. For those who say, I can't see God, I don't believe. Those who only believe in nature, but they don't know the person behind the nature. So for them, you have to represent everything in terms of nature. So that's a good example Nangopal Prabhu gave. That for a person in jail, if you are telling, actually the example is from Bhushan Prabhu only. He says in his class that a person in jail, you won't tell him what it's like to be outside the jail. You have to tell him there will be no bars in front of you. There will be no chains on your leg. No one will flash a light in the night to make sure you're still there. No one will check up on you. All these restrictions won't be there. But that's not really of what describes outside world is like. But for him, he can only relate in those terms. So for such people, that there is a supreme, to give them that indication of some idea of somebody superior, that universal form is manifest for those kind of people. For materialistic people, it's meant for atheists actually. So they can still continue to believe there's no God. Or this itself is God, then I can accept. The trees are hairs, the mountains are like the bones of his body. Yeah, that I can. Rivers are like veins in his body. Oh yes, that I can understand. And you are calling that come from Krishna, okay, that is your belief. For me, nature is real. That's the atheistic person or materialistic person. But there's another aspect to the question, and that aspect is that anything other than the personal form of the Lord is actually impersonal only. Anything. All of them is impersonal. Just like we have brought the example of Birla. Mr. J.D. Birla is a person. But everything else about him is his impersonal aspect. His business, his golf club and his whatever his paraphernalia is there. It's all his impersonal representation of him. It's not actually him. But it is him because it belongs to him. It is him in one sense. So all that is the impersonal aspect. Until you meet Mr. J.D. Birla himself in person, that is the personal aspect. Anything other than that is impersonal. So sometimes there is a classified as impersonal understanding. But as Sumedha Prabhu distinguished, there is impersonal in the material world and impersonal in the spiritual world also. Impersonal aspect. Yeah, very good. Prabhupada's example, I guess. Car is Ford, but Ford is not a motor car. The car has got Ford label on it. So you're driving Ford, you got a Ford car. That is Ford. But Mr. Ford himself is not a car. That's a good example. So there is a person and impersonal aspect. Always these things are there. Another aspect to your question is that among the different grades of people, those who worship the impersonal form are the lowest. Okay, among all of them. Prabhupada is classified. Last time, remember, Mr. Maharaj said, he puts them at the lowest level. So the universal form also falls in that category. They are also the lowest level. But those who are Brahmavadis, not Mayavadis, those who are attached to the impersonal Brahman, they can be very great sages. Like the 4 Kumaras, they were worshipping the impersonal Brahman. They are very elevated sages, very powerful sages, very elevated souls. And they are called transcendentalists. So among all of them, the Brahmavadis are the most evolved, okay, compared to demigod worshippers and coming all of them. And that is where the biggest confusion is coming. Those who worship 4-hand form, 2-hand form, you can put them in one category. They are personalists. Okay. Between them there is differences, but that's not a consideration here. The main consideration is those who worship other than the personal form of the Lord, whether 2-hand or 4-hand, that's one category, impersonal. And those who worship with 4-hand or 2-hand or even 6-hand form of Shadguru, they are all personalists. They worship the personal form of the Lord. They have personal connection with the personality of God. Just like somebody who knows J.D. Birla personally, that is different from the one who is working for him or running his business or supplying some goods to him or doing some interaction with him indirectly. So many people are dealing with Birla indirectly. But those are all impersonal and indirect. But those who know him personally, they are one category. So Arjuna has brought this to the head now. So finally it is telling once and for all for certain which is better. And also as Bhushan Prabhu says, the universal form is awe-inspiring. Think, my God, that's beautiful, that's wonderful. So you see a beautiful scenery, you can admire the scenery very easily. Oh, that looks so beautiful. Or even if you see someone very handsome and say, oh, he looks so handsome, but she is so beautiful. We are attracted by this beauty. We feel very inspired. Oh, that's so beautiful. That rose is so nice. But what we fail to appreciate is how the rose come here in the first place. Who made the rose? Who made this nature? Who made these trees? Who made this forest and mountains and everything else? Who did that? That is hard to accept. So Arjuna is clarifying his own position. I am worshipping you in a personal form. I am not worshipping the universal form. So am I in a lower position? Does that clarify things? Anyone has any other questions or comments on that? Sumedha Prabhu, are you okay? Alright. As long as the same chapter, right? We are in the same chapter. Along with this 11th, 12th chapter. Okay, that's good.
I just want to understand if Shankaracharya was a Brahmavadi or a Mayavadi.
Yeah. Shankaracharya actually is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Vaishnava. Vaishnava Neta Shambhu. However, he played the role of a Mayavadi. But he himself was not one. Why he did that? Because Buddha had come and rejected the Vedas. He had to bring the Vedas back, and the only way he could bring them back was on an impersonal footing, not on a personal level. Because it would be too much for him to accept a personal God. And they're saying there's no... See, I explained before, the Buddhists accept no reality. There's zero reality. Nothing is real. Everything is false. Mayavadis say Brahman Satya and Jagan Mithya. They accept one aspect of reality. That Brahman is true. Everything else is false. But Vaishnavas, they accept both. The material energy and the spiritual energy. The material world and the spiritual world. Jagan is not Mithya. Jagan is Satya also. But it is Asat in the sense it is temporary. But the Mayavadis say it is not even existing. It's all imaginary. So that's why we have to make a distinction between these categories.
Actually, the reason why I asked is, even in the role of Shankaracharya, I've heard some people say that Shankaracharya, that role, is not a Mayavadi role, that only impersonalism. But Prabhupada writes that Sharika Bhashya, Mayavadi commentary originates from Shankaracharya.
Sharika Bhashya was commentary on Vedanta Sutra was written by Shankaracharya. But you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, it is not the fault of Shankara. He says very clearly. Because Shankaracharya has highlighted the impersonal aspect, but he never condemned the personal aspect. Today's Mayavadis, taking advantage of Shankara's teaching, they not only highlight the impersonal aspect, they condemn the personal aspect. That is aparad. So Shankaracharya did not do any aparad. He only pointed out the impersonal aspect and left it at that. Though at the end he said Bhaja Govindam, which is opposite of what he taught his whole life. Bhaja Govindam is the exact opposite of what he taught in the earlier. Earlier completely on impersonalism, Advaita. But Bhaja Govindam is not Advaita. It is Advaita in a higher sense, like Lord Chaitanya explained, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, simultaneously one and different. But it is not definitely impersonalism. Bhaja Govinda is very clear. Bhaja and Govinda are very clear. I met a Mayavadi once and he was saying, oh, Bhaja Govindam, oh, that song. Bhaja does not mean Bhaja. Govinda does not mean Govinda. Everything they turn the meaning of that, their own Acharya's words they have turned around. Because they are Mayavadis, outright aparadis. To avoid them, they are envious. Then I said, Shankaracharya was the greatest intellect of Sanskrit of his time. If he didn't want to say Govinda, he would have said Bhaja Swayam, worship yourself. He was lacking in Sanskrit vocabulary. He could communicate very clearly what he wanted to say. He could have said worship yourself. Now why are you saying worship yourself? He is very specific. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. And then furthermore he says, Samprapta Sannhite Kale Nahine Rakshate Tikrin Karne. Your arguments and debates and logic and trying to prove impersonal is supreme and this is supreme, that is supreme. Nahine Rakshate. It's not going to save you. Sannhite Kale. At the time of death, that is not going to help you. This word jugglery, trying to prove Bhaja does not mean Bhaja, Govinda does not mean Govinda, all this type of word jugglery you can do. And even word jugglery, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. Sarva Bhattacharya gave 9 interpretations of Atmaram words. Using all word jugglery, combination of words. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left that aside and gave 64 explanations, all personal. He gave 9 Mayavadi interpretations when he gave 64 personal interpretations. So if you want to challenge, the devotees are there. They can handle anyone. But that is not the goal of bhakti, to get intellectual. Bhakti is to develop love of Lord. And that means pleasing the Lord. And pleasing the Lord may not happen by quoting a lot of slokas. So to understand this very clearly. Because devotees have, this is a very confusing point, Even devotees are confused. Sometimes devotees say, oh Prabhuji, why you are working so hard? Simply sit and read Bhagavatam, everything will happen. Imagine applying this philosophy wrongly. Imagine you are in the temple pot shed. You got pots up to the roof. The Sunday feast of the big festival is finished. And you're washing the pots. And you say, Sumedha Prabhu, please just read Bhagavatam. Pots will get washed by themselves. I don't think that's proper understanding. But doesn't mean we're condemning reading Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. No, we're not condemning that either. When Hanuman was looking for Sita and reached the end of India, South India, Cape Comorin, Kanyakumari, he was stuck. He didn't know where to go. It's a brick wall. I mean, rather it's the ocean. It's a brick wall. He didn't know where to go. So he was completely confused and he had no hope and no direction left. That's it. They're thinking of ending the life. But that time, what did he do? He started reciting the Ramayana. He started reciting Ramayana. So Ramayana reading or Bhagavatam reading or Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, that will give inspiration to continue a service. But it doesn't mean become lazy and say, I'm not going to wash the pots. Krishna didn't tell Arjuna, I think Arjuna, you should go to the forest and read Bhagavatam and I will do the fighting for you. No, he said, you fight. That's the application of the knowledge he has got in 1 hour. 18 chapter, end result of 18 chapters, Arjuna is ready to fight. Karishya Vachanam Tava, I'm ready to fight now. So we should not get these fanatical ideas. This is what happens when we read Bhagavatam or Gita on our own, without association of devotees. We read and interpret something. Oh, Prabhupada says Bhagavatam is sufficient for everything. Why need anything else? Alright, I will not wash the pots. I will just read Bhagavatam. That's an improper understanding. So when Hanuman started reciting the Ramayana, then Jatayu's brother came. I'm cutting short a long story there. There's a whole description given how the mountain started shaking and the wind started coming and finally his brother came. Jatayu's brother appeared on the scene. And he said, I'm hearing my brother Jatayu's name. Who is speaking about Jatayu? And then he manifested himself and he said, I forgot his name, Jatayu's brother. What is his name? Brother. Yeah, anyway, Jatayu's brother it was. And he didn't know Jatayu was killed by Ravan. He got the update from Hanuman. When Hanuman was reciting Ramayana to the monkeys to inspire them to continue. And then he said, oh, Lanka is in that direction. It's 200 yojanas, how many miles away? Or 100 yojanas, whatever distance he said, that many distance away. And you have to go by, there's no other way, you have to fly across. And he gives all the information they needed to go and find Sita. He gives the clues. So Ramayana recitation there was inspiration for him to help him to get to the service of the Lord. Not to sit in the class and then say, okay, I'm doing Bhakti Sastri, I don't need to do any service. No, that is wrong understanding. You need to do both. You can't say, I'll only wash the pots, I won't read any books of Prabhupada. That's not going to work. Sorry, I'm bringing another topic here, but it's kind of related. Because I hear this Maya coming, arguments coming from devotees that read Bhagavatam, that is enough, you don't need anything else. So this is a wrong understanding of philosophy. So the personal aspect of Krishna means to please Krishna. You have to please Krishna. If you are able to please Krishna, then that is success. So whether that's done by reading, or by standing, or by cooking, or by cleaning, whatever be it. And how to find out what does Krishna want? Therefore we have to go to Krishna's representatives. Those who are Krishna's Pratinidhi, representatives, they will tell us, can you please help with this service? Can you please do this? Can you please do that? And by doing that sincerely, we please Krishna. However small it may be, however big it may be, however insignificant it may be, that does not matter. Because the squirrel in Ram Leela was putting little grains of sand. Whereas Hanuman was putting big boulders. So the volume was quite different. But for the Lord, the squirrel was very, very pleasing to the Lord. So whatever service we have, we need to take that service and do it sincerely. And that's why you need to study the books. When you study the books, we understand why we are doing this service. Why am I doing this in the first place? Why am I here in the association of devotees? So these things are clearly understood in the association. Now you read the same thing, transcript of this even, on your own, you may not get the same understanding. May or may not. Highly likely not. But in the association of devotees, you understand things in a proper way. Did you have a question? Sampati, thank you so much. Good girl. Did a quick Google, did you? Kids are smart, aren't they? Yes, Sampati, correct. He had burnt his wings because he was competing with, I think we discussed in an earlier class many years ago. I've forgotten the details, so suddenly it came to me. But he did, when he was hopeless and lost, He started reciting Ramayana. And then the inspiration came and the help also came. The Sampati came and told him, yeah, because he was competing. They were trying to see who will fly higher than others, no? Not Garuda, and Jatayu and Sampati. They were brothers. And Jatayu went very high. And to protect him, Sampati covered him with his wings. But he got burnt in the process. And he fell down. Huge bird. They are describing his wings were like span, more than jumbo jet. Some 10 yojanas of this side, 20 yojanas that side, and height of so many. Yojanas means 1 yojana is 8 miles. So this, and 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. There's a bit of conversion to go there. There's a bit of conversion going on there. So it's very substantial size. And they made him stand up, and he could look at, and he had, because he was an eagle, he could see Lanka. Yes, I can see Ravan in his 7th-story building or something, 8th-story building. I can see on the top floor, he's pacing up and down. And he's worried that, when the Ram is going to come, and he's talking to his ministers. He could dictate, he could narrate what was going on in Ravan's palace on the edge of India, Kanyakumari. He could stand up in Kanyakumari. They made him stand up and he could look. And as soon as he revealed the location of Sita, he said, I can see in the forest ladies there in a saffron dress, and she's looking very sad. He could see her also. As soon as he revealed Sita's location, his wings came back. He got back his strength and he flew off. He did his job, he did his service, that was his service. To say, confirm Sita is in Lanka, and Lanka is 200 years away. So many kilometers, or 100 years away? Okay. 100 years?
100 bro.
100 years now, 800 miles, yeah. 800 miles, yeah. So 800 miles away, and good luck. So the search begins from there. Anyway, Ramayana is a different story from point to time. Alright? So good question, good answer, nice discussion, I hope that was useful. Brought out many points. Okay, so let's continue with yeah, please, with my question.
Just on the previous question Mataji, Tushika Mataji asked, you could also relate that to the Achintya Bheda Tattva.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to the previous question that Mataji asked.
Yeah. So go on.
So basically, again, when we are saying that the impersonal and personal form of the Lord, and if we look at it from this angle, then and for transcendent, high transcendentalists like the Kumaras, as you suggested, Prabhuji, then we can say that they are the same. If we have reached that level.
Yeah. All three aspects are absolute. That's what Bhagavatam says. Vadanti tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sundate. Learned transcendentalists, they understand three aspects of absolute truth: Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So all three are absolute. They're all absolute. They're not material. You shouldn't see in the material classification. They're all absolute, because anything to do with Krishna is absolute. They're all absolute. So they are all the absolute truth. But the personal form is more personal. Yeah, that's right. It's more intimate. Let's put another word. More intimate. And that's what Arjuna is clarifying here. So this is often misunderstood, common misunderstanding, and we find a lot of people with this misunderstanding. But when you want to clarify one position, am I on the right track, or should I start worshipping in impersonal form? Should I be doing that? Because the impersonalists is like Sri Prabhupada said in class today, morning Bhagavatam class. You were there, yeah. People think that worshipping the personal form is temporary, and worshipping the impersonal form is the higher goal. This is a misunderstanding, is very common. I'm talking of Shankaracharya. Our Guru Maharaj went to Puri, and he went to Shankaracharya Puri Shankar Mat. And he went there to get permission for ISKCON devotees to have Jagannath's darshan, because the Puri authorities said, if he says yes, we will allow. They know he will never say yes. It's that against devotees. So the present day Shankaracharya. And when he went to see him in his office, he had his desk, on his desk he had a deity of Krishna. So Guru Maharaj asked him, you said everything is impersonal, how come you got Krishna deity here, secretly worshipping Krishna here? He said, that's just nice to Deva, I like Krishna, so I just worship him. But ultimately, when you get tired of impersonalism, little bit of relief from that, I have a little worship of Krishna. But actually impersonal is the real thing. And he didn't give permission, needless to say. No, but then he tried to act smart, and he said, Krishna is everywhere, why do you go to the temple? He's everywhere, you don't need to go. That time Guru Maharaj just hardly 20, 21 year old, so he didn't want to argue with Acharya or Shankar much. He thought, okay, he knew it was wrong, but he just left it, leave it at that. Didn't want to get into argument with him. But you can see how impersonalism is so strong, all pervading. Okay, let's move on without further delays. 12 point. Let's quickly read 1, 2, 3 because these are very relevant. Quickly read through those verses. Who is the 12th chapter expert here? Am I looking at you? Yes. What is the 12th chapter?
Arvind.
You are which chapter expert?
15.
15, alright. Okay. Hold your horses, as they say. Yeah, 12 chapters is small, we'll get through quickly. Yeah. Alright, we'll just start from here. Ravi Prabhu then read first verse. And verse translation, part 1 from Krishna, verse translation. Quickly go through 4 verses.
Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yukte Bhaktastavam Pariyashpaspate Ye Chapye Askaram Avyaktam Tesam Ke Yoga Vitma. Translation. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
So what is the impersonal Brahman referred to in this verse? Avyaktam. Yes, Avyaktam is the impersonal form. And other opposite of that is? Vyakta, yeah, and Bhakta. This is Bhakta. Those who worship that, there's some more copies, there are quite a few copies of Gita there. You can give one more copy. What happened to all of them? There's more on that side. There's some more copies there. Akshar should I get a copy? Akshar, one copy for Akshar. There's hardbound, 3 copies should be there in plastic wrapper. There might take it out. Ultimately you have to use them. Akshar got one. 12th chapter text 1. That doesn't have Sanskrit in it. Akshar, can you read Sanskrit? No, I'm going to keep English. Krishna made a nice choice for you. But it's good to learn eventually. Alright. So that is the clarification Arjuna asking. Personal and impersonal, which is superior, which is better, which is more perfect. He doesn't say whether it's imperfect, he says which is more perfect. Okay? Alright. 12.2 Shri Krishna.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesha Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Payopetaste Me Yukta Tamamataha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect.
What is the word for most perfect? Sanskrit word? Yukta Uttamaha. Tama means darkness, Uttama means beyond darkness. Yukta Uttama, most perfect in yoga. So in other words, it's not condemning the other impersonal worshippers, rather it's saying this is most perfect. So we should also follow the same mood. The reason Prabhupada condemned was the Mayavadis, who are offenders. Brahmavadis are not offenders, but they are considered less perfect. Okay, text number 3 and 4, Srimantu.
Ye tva aksharam anirdeshyam Avakyam pari upasate Sarvatra gam achintyam cha Kutastham achalam dhruvam Saniyam yendriya gramam Sarvatra samabuddhaya Tre prapnuvanti mameva
Te prapnuvanti mameva
sarva bhuta hite rataha.
Sarvabhutahite rataha.
Translation. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conceptions of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons, engaged in the welfare of all, at last achieve me.
So here is an important point to clarify. I think we discussed it last time, but I want to recap on that. So here Krishna is saying that those who worship the impersonal form, at last they come to me. At last. So then why can't we go through the impersonal path and come to the personal path? Why is that a problem? And why we are so much concerned when someone takes the impersonal path? Well, you want to answer? What do you want to answer?
Love of Godhead.
Huh? No, you use the mic. Who else is speaking? Put up your hand. Yeah, please, you go first. Okay.
So Prabhu, we talked about last time that if we follow this path, we could land up in Brahma Jyoti, and that's akin to spiritual suicide.
Right.
And it may take, there's no chance of personal worship to the Lord over there, and it could be very frustrating, and it can take a very long time to come back, but eventually we do fall down before we can be go.
Right. Let's confirm the Brahma in the 10th canto Bhagavat. Is that what you wanted to say? Wow. Next time we'll give you priority. Same thing you want to say, already covered. Everyone happy with the answer? Yes. So, first of all, from the impersonal path, Prabhupada refers to the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter. Bahunam janma namante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva saramiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. It says it's very rare to come through that path. After many, many lifetimes it will take, and it's very rare. No guarantee will come to the personal path. The crossover can happen anytime, but we don't hear too many examples of that. We are not talking Mayavadis, they are offenders. They'll neither get Brahmajyoti nor they'll get Krishna. They are aparadhis, so rule them out completely. They're going to hell only. Darkest regions of hell is described. So their condition is very sad and bad. But the impersonalists, the Brahmavadis, they are on the path of Brahman realization. So for them, it's very difficult to make the switch over unless they get the association of a devotee. That's why a devotee is considered more merciful than the Lord. The Lord is impartial. You want the impersonal form? Okay, go that way. One personal form, come this way. Mayavadis go down. He is very clear. But devotee takes compassion on both the Mayavadi and the Brahmavadi and tries to bring them back to the personal path. So eventually it is possible. So Krishna never says it's impossible for anyone. Actually even atheists can become a devotee. That's the beauty of bhakti. No one is barred from bhakti. So these two verses, chapter text 3 and 4, are described the characteristics of the personal form and the impersonal form are described here. What are the characteristics mentioned here? First is mentioned is unmanifested, right? It's not manifested. What else? All pervading, very good. Inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable, and beyond the senses, beyond sense perception. Prabhupada Krishna Prabhu needs a microphone. Please relay one. Keep one in the back section. Take this, put it, keep it in the back side. Yeah, so don't just waste time moving mics.
Lord Krishna is also telling impersonal people they are unintelligent. If you go to 7th chapter 24th verse, he's telling Avyaktam Vyaktim Mahapannam Manyante Mam Buddhe Param Bhavam Ajanantu Mam Avyam Anuttamam. That is telling unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Person Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme.
Very good. Very good answer. Very, very clearly said. Yeah. And that clarifies the doubt as well. Clarifies the doubt as to why people say that impersonal form is superior. It's not the case. Krishna has already told in the 7th chapter. And how to approach that on the path of impersonalism, What is the process? What is required? What's the requirement? What do we need? Is also mentioned in these verses. Controlling the senses, very good. What else? Yeah. Controlling the senses, that comes under the same category. Then? You can use the microphone, there is microphone there. Yeah. Please speak in the microphone, yeah. Yes, equally disposed to everyone. One should be equally disposed, yeah. What else? Okay. Engage in welfare of activity, very good. One is engaged in welfare for all, yes. So these are the basic method of getting onto the impersonal path. Yeah, equal. Yeah, that's on a Brahman platform. One sees everyone on equal level. The Brahmavadis are very advanced transcendentalists. But these Brahmavadis are so advanced that even if I think I described this, if a snake were to bite them, they won't die of poisoning. Poison have no effect on them because they're so detached from the body. They know they're not a body that they realize, oh, snake. They look at a snake and say, oh, 24 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. My body, 24 elements. Some poison is going from that body to this body. It's all chemicals moving. So I'm not these chemicals. Take it away. So even if the snake bites them, they will not be, they will not die of poisoning. Which is pretty amazing. But then Vaishnavas are even more amazing than that. Keep it to you.
I had the same trouble. Someone called me, I picked it up and no one answered.
So Murari was one such baby, a child who was bitten by a snake. And he was considered dead. They could not cure him. So their parents, as a child, they put him on a raft, little boat on the Ganges, and said, some sadhus can find him and cure him, well and good. Otherwise he's dead. So that's when his guru, what's his name? Murari's guru was Murari Chaitanya. His guru's name, Saranga Thakur, thank you very much. Saranga Thakur, yes. Saranga Thakur was, Lord Chaitanya was telling Saranga Thakur all the time, you should start initiating, start becoming guru and take disciples. I kept saying, no, I'm not qualified, not qualified. Then Saranga Thakur said, alright, tomorrow, first person I meet, I'm going to initiate. Whoever it is. And he's taking bath early in the morning and this dead body comes floating and bumps into him. He came out of the water, boom, dead body, first candidate, alright. Your name is. And he chants the Mahamantra in his ear. As he chants the Mahamantra, the boy Murari wakes up. Oh, Hare Krishna, Guru Dev. And so Vaishnavas are more powerful. When we say Mayavadis are not Mayavadis, impersonal Brahmavadis, when they're bitten by a snake, they won't die of snake bite. I think, wow, that's great, that's wonderful. But the Vaishnavas are even more wonderful than that. They can make a dead body come back to life and initiate him. And that boy Murari became so fearless that is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat that he would slap the cheeks of the lions and tigers and say, hey, nonsense, chant Hare Krishna. Because he's not afraid of death anymore. He already seen death. He already come back from death. So he said, oh, death is no problem. I'm not the body. You're so, from a young age, Raksha, there's hope for you. Yes? And for you too. Yeah. You also. Everyone has hope. No one should be underestimated. So the impersonal understanding is quite amazing. One should not think that, oh, that's ordinary. No, the Brahmavadis are quite advanced constantly. But the devotees are even more amazing. Because they have Krishna Shakti behind them. Krishna is there behind them. They can do anything. Very powerful. Okay, so to get on the impersonal path, to progress on the path is very difficult. One has to control the senses, one has to equal disposed to everyone, one should be engaged in the welfare activities for others. It is very difficult to do. Therefore, it is not recommended. Alright, we will go to text number 5 now. Nidhi is next in line.
क्लेशो धिक्कातरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्ता शक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहावद्भिरवाप्यते
Translation.
For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Very good, excellent reading. First time we read the words. Huh? See, Shreya, you should learn from Nidhi, okay? Yeah, Shreya is such a nice girl, sitting quietly and listening. How old is she? 9. When did you start, Nidhi, attending Gita classes? How old were you? 6 years old she started. So you can be like her, okay? She sit and listen. And now in the beginning she didn't understand everything, but slowly now she's answering our questions. She remembered some parts. Little help from Dr. Google, but
Aniket.
But still she's switched on, you know. She knows what's going on. She knows everything. Like today we had gone to the temple and Vishikamatri was telling that Keshava, Damodara is his daughter, yeah. Tell what he said. How old is he?
He's just 8 years old, and he was telling his mom that we should love Krishna a little bit more than how we love each other. Because if it was not for Krishna, then we wouldn't have been here for each other.
And there's a kid who runs around the class, doesn't even sit quietly and listen, you know. All is running around, right? Spades run around, it's a battlefield in the class sometimes. But the word is alright, it's okay, the kid, let him come. And just by that he picks up, you know. And just keep listening, it has an effect. And when you ask question, he'll be the first one to answer. He'll be thinking, I was in the class, but I was meditating on what I'm going to have for breakfast. Has the cook cooked anything or not? There's no sabji in the cool room. And the speaker says, what did they say last sentence? Oh, I don't know. I was in my own world. I was listening to my own class. In our mind we have our own class going on, isn't it? That class doesn't stop 24/7. The mind is giving class. And we are paid for listening to it. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji. What can I do for you? But when the real class comes, Bhagavatam class or Gita class, we have to switch off. But anyway, Shreya, there's hope for you. Good girl. Can you also read some of the purport? Would you like to read some purport? No? Okay. Maybe mom can read. The purport of the 12.5. Just read the purport on you. Just read the purport. Use the microphone because this goes to Mayapur TV. People have to hear you. A bit closer to you. Hold the mic until the mic amplification comes.
The group of transcendentalists who follow the path of the inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal features of the Supreme Lord are called Yajna Yogis, and persons who are in full Krishna consciousness engaged in the devotional service to the Lord are called Bhakti Yogis. Now, here the difference between the Yajna Yoga and the Bhakti Yoga is definitely expressed. The process of Yajna Yoga ultimately bringing one to the same goal is very troublesome, whereas the path of the Bhakti Yoga, the process of being in direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is easier and is natural for the embodied soul. The individual soul is embodied since time immemorial. It is very difficult for him to simply theoretically understand that he is not the body. Therefore, the Bhakti Yogi accepts the deity of Krishna as worshipable because there is some bodily conception mixed in the mind, which can thus be applied. Of course, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in his form within the temple is not idol worship. There is a difference in the Vedic literature that worship may be and of the Supreme possessing or not possessing attributes. Worship of the deity in the temple is sadhana. Worship for the Lord is represented by material qualities. For the form of the Lord, though represented by material qualities such as stone, wood, or oil paint, is not actually material. That is the absolute nature of the Supreme Lord.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. So far, what have we realized from this paragraph, Prabhupada? What does it say in the purport? I can cut my.
So, what Prabhupada explained here is the people who are engaged in the Krishna consciousness and devotional service and do the devotional service are called Bhakti Yogis.
Very good. Yeah, Ruchika.
Who is saying that the nature of the Lord is completely absolute. There is no material or spiritual. He is completely absolute. But he still manifests his deity form for us to be able to perform worship to his personal form.
Very good. So that doesn't mean that his deity form is temporary. Yeah, and it's made of material elements. Very good. So in this section, Prabhupada explaining two types of transcendentalists. They're called Gyan Yogis and Bhakti Yogis. Who are the Gyan Yogis? Yeah, they are generally attached to the impersonal form of the Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, feature of the Lord. And the Bhakti Yogis are the ones who are attached to the personal form and they are engaged in service to the Lord. So they are called Bhakti Yogis. So what is the goal of the Gyan Yogis? Brahma Jyoti, yeah. And the Bhakti Yogis? Bhagavan. So both are absolute truth. In that sense they are same. Both the Brahman and Paramatma and Bhagavan, all three aspects are absolute truth. In that sense they are the same. But there is a difference in the degree of understanding. Impersonalist only knows the impersonal aspect, whereas the devotee knows the Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. All three aspects are absolute truth. There is a much deeper, much more intimate understanding. And what is troublesome about the path of Jnana Yoga?
So it's not we are not utilizing the natural nature of the soul because Bhakti is it's natural to a living entity, whereas negating the senses is unnatural.
Yes. So the impersonalist, his main understanding is that I am not this body. That's his main objective. But that is very difficult to maintain that position. If I tell you you are not a monkey, now that doesn't help you much. So you still don't know who you are. Okay, you know you are not a monkey, that's good. That's why one press conference, I think I told that, no? Prabhupada started by saying, what is your message? Swamiji said, I am not donkey. And the reporter said, why all of a sudden you're saying I'm not donkey? He said, if I say I'm not a body, people will say you're saying the same thing again and again. He doesn't know much. That's all he knows. So to make it a little variety, I have to tell you I'm not donkey. That is my message for today. So then they start thinking, yes. But that itself is not enough for us to remain fixed in that realization. We still need to know who we are. So the impersonal part is very troublesome because it does not help us understand our true nature. And as Ruchika said, it doesn't bring us back to our original position as a loving servant of Krishna. That loving exchange we are looking for, we don't get that, which is a natural impetus for the soul, for the Jivatma. We need to be loved. We want to love and be loved. And we can't get that by saying you're not the body. Therefore one remains unfulfilled and dissatisfied. So, and also it's very difficult to maintain that position. That's why it's said that many of these impersonalists, they go up to Brahma Jyoti, then they fall down. Why do they fall down? Why can't they be happy in Brahma Jyoti? Nobody is giving you any trouble, no bad relationships, nothing to worry about, because material world relationships are very frustrating. So why are we so happy? Why can't we be happy there? Microphone? There's one in the back there.
Because our nature is, soul is always active.
Very good.
So that's why we always want to be active in some kind of.
Prabhupada said it's very lonely up there in Brahma Jyoti, very lonely. And at the end of the day, we want loving relationships. Not that we don't want relationships, we want loving. But having looked for it here in every form and not getting it, we become frustrated and think better not to have it. But actually look for the relationships. So what happens is Brahma Jyoti is very lonely and the soul by nature is active. So when they look down in the universe, they see the material world. They think at least some activity is going on there. Somebody is building a hospital, somebody is building a school. Let me go and do some social welfare activity. At least that way I'll be happy. So they come back again, and Prabhupada explains these Mayavadis or impersonalists. They fall down and they open hospitals and schools and engage in philanthropic work. Because they have no understanding of, they don't look up, they look down. They look up, they'll see Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, they'll see that way. But no, they look down and they see only the material universes. And they see a lot of activities going on here. Oh my God, they're so busy. Something is going on in their life. For me, nothing. Just be there. That's it. Not the body. Oh, great. How long can you maintain that position? It is not. So they feel better to come back to material world and give another try. Last time I failed, but this time I'll try again. So it's like we thought, in India we're not happy, we'll come to Australia, we'll be happy. We're migrated. And some people carry the illusion for the Australia also not good. Let me go to US, I'll be happy. Go to South Africa, I'll be happy. In South Africa, I'll come here and say, I'll be happy here. I'm not saying we should not migrate, but we should not migrate the expectation that life will be perfect here. That's my point. Don't get me wrong. Here also there are problems. We have to become Krishna conscious wherever we are. We happen to be in Australia, very good. Be Krishna conscious. We happen to be in South Africa, well, be Krishna conscious there. No, there's no place that is better or worse. The thing is to become Krishna conscious. And then we'll be happy in any place. It doesn't matter. It's always to be in the association of devotees, to have a relationship. So to maintain that position is very difficult for the impersonalist. Okay. But on the other hand, Bhakti Yoga is very easy. Why is that easy? Let me just finish this point. Then we'll have definitely come to you. So why is Bhakti Yoga in that paragraph? Prabhupada mentioned Bhakti Yoga is very easy. Why is it easy? It is natural for soul. Very good. Because we have a propensity to love. We have propensity to serve. We have propensity to have relationships. Loving relationships, yeah. It's always there, always in us. That's our nature. All these three things are there already. The desire to have relationships, the desire to exchange love, the desire to serve. This is always there. This never ends. So therefore, that naturally follows when we transpose that love to Krishna, all those things are satisfied. Whereas when we try to transpose it to the material world, to other human beings or even to animals, it is not satisfied. So even our relationships in a family or as physical relationships, bodily relationships, there also we have to see it through Krishna. If we can do that, then that will be successful. Otherwise, if we see that relationship also as material, again we have the same problems. We'll be frustrated. So, yeah, I can move a little forward, a little more space back. In Kalamati, you can come forward here. There's more place here. You can sit next to Nidhi. You can take all your jumpers and shawls and all away. Yeah. We're waiting for a 12th chapter man. Arvind, without you, we can't do 12th chapter. You know that, right? You have to come help us. Yeah, we didn't know how to chant properly. We were struggling with the very early. So the path of bhakti is direct, and therefore it's easy, because it's a direct path. It's natural, therefore it's easy. And a devotee has got access to Krishna's personal form of the Lord very easily. How will he access the impersonal form? Very difficult. You can't go to Brahmajyoti and get the impersonal form, even if you want to get there. But we have access to personal form of the Lord in the form of deities, in the form of the holy name. So Krishna is accessible in many forms. So therefore we can start that relationship straight away. The moment you start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, the relationship has started already. The relationship has started already. Even though it's still remote, because we are not chanting with pure devotion, pure chanting, but still the chanting is already started. The relationship is already started. So easily accessible. But the impersonal path is very troublesome because it's not direct. It's very, very indirect. And it takes a long time. And even after you get there, there's a fall down. Very high chance of fall down. In fact, Prabhupada asked one time, do the people who go to Brahmajyoti, do they always fall down? You know, Americans are very picky in their questions. They fall down, yes, but do they always fall down? So Bhajanta was saying, they asked the question to Prabhupada. Prabhupada thought for a while and said, yes, they always fall down. They always fall down. But because the fall down may take billion, zillion, trillion years, you may think that, oh, they're not falling down, they're looking pretty good out there. They just crossed 10 billion years of earth years. You may feel that they're there eternally, but in the eternal time scale, they do fall down, yeah. And at eventually maybe after billions of yugas and billions of Pralaya and Srishti, going on cycles of creation and destruction. They take countless. But still one does what Bhagavat it said that two fall down. So that position they can't maintain.
So I want to understand why Jnana Yoga is the recommended process for impersonalism, because Jnana Yoga means reading scriptures, right?
Yes.
And the scriptures state that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So why would Jnana Yoga lead to impersonalism?
Because you see, the scriptures are very many. There are many scriptures. And unless you read that in association of devotees, one will not understand that. See, okay, let's get one other perspective on that. Usually, in the rung of the ladder, yoga ladder, the karma yoga is considered the lowest. So karma is someone who is engaged in fruitive work, trying to enjoy the fruit, trying to discipline himself by saying, it's not for me, it's not for me, it's not for me, the fruit is not for me. When you do your duty, karmani vadikarastu, ma phaleshu kadachana, don't go for the fruit. So that's the level they're training on. But that is not satisfying. They want to know why I shouldn't go for the fruit. What happens if I get the fruit? So that you have to come to Gyan. The moment you start inquiring, you are on the Gyan platform. On the Gyan platform, you are engaged in inquiring, who am I? Why am I suffering? Why should I not go for the fruit? So Gyan is considered superior to Karmi, because he understands that I am not the body. So when he starts analyzing the matter, so because the Jnani is following the path of mental speculation, he can only relate to the search for absolute truth in terms of the material world, like Nandagopal said. So he follows the philosophy of neti, 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 not this. I am not earth, I am not water, I am not fire, I am not air, I am not donkey, I am not monkey. That kind of logic he has to use and gradually come to the understanding I am pure spirit soul. Okay. So, and beyond the spirit soul, the soul itself coming from Brahmajyoti. The whole creation comes from Brahmajyoti, the base of whole creation. So after many lifetimes it takes to get to that point. Then from that point to come to the point of understanding that the personality of God is Bhagavan, from whom the Brahmajyoti is coming, that is next to impossible on your own. Without help of devotees, without association, without engaging some devotional service, one cannot get that understanding. And like we discussed before, 4 Kumaras are a good example of that. They had gone to the point of Brahmajyoti, but still they had no appreciation for they knew the person for the Lord, not that they were ignorant, they were knowledgeable. So your point of reading Shastra, yes, they read, but the attraction is not there because they not had any sambandha relationship. In the scripture they may read that part and they'll bypass that. They'll think, oh, that's just, I'm not so attracted to that personal form. I already had bad experience in personal form, no more personal form, that's it. Even if it is Bhagavan, I don't want. The Brahmajyoti is so soothing, so cool, so peaceful. Oh, why are you going to trouble me? I'm there by myself. And I can relax totally. In Shavasana. So one may read, but one not understand. When we read, we understand because Prabhupada's mercy is there, devotees' mercy is there, spiritual master's mercy is there. Therefore, we are able to understand this thing. And we sort of take it for granted. Oh, yeah, I know that. But there are many who don't have that. When you don't have that, and you look back what we were 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever years before we became devotees, what was our understanding? Pathetic. At least mine was pathetic. Now we sort of take it for granted because we got so used to it. That's good. Is that okay? Yes, one may read the books, but one will not get the Siddhanta correct. The conclusion won't be clear. That's the point. Microphone. Is got one? It is got one.
I don't know. I mean, my speculation could be that it is possible that when you read too many books and when you refer the word Bhagavan for many other demigods as well, then people get confused. They are not sure whom I am talking, who is the real Bhagavan. The Lord Shiva, or Lord Ganesha, or Lord goddess of Lakshmi, or so that could be another reason that people who actually read too many books, they are in trouble actually. They think, oh, the impersonal form is the best because there is no contradiction there. When you read in the books, you will find in the scripture Lord Shiva is also referred as Parmeshwar.
Very good.
And Lord Ganesha is also referred as Parmeshwar. I mean, so many other demigods as well, and demigoddess as well. So people get confused who is the real God.
Yeah.
And then they think, oh, this philosophy is better in personal form because this looks better, there is no contradiction there.
Yeah, that's true.
So
many people take
that
shelter of
could be another-
impersonalism
this might
because that's not very true. That's very true. Because people get fed up of so many philosophies. As mentioned in the 4th chapter of the Gita also. Vitaraga bhaya krodha maya pasata bhava jnana tapasa bhutamandham agata. So vitaraga bhaya krodha. So bhaya, the fear of relationships, is there because of so many frustrating philosophies. When you go to so many Mayavadis and so-called scholars who confuse you rather than clear your doubts, they make you more confused. When you get frustrated, so the result of that is krodha. One gets angry. And then one starts taking drugs and think, this is my spiritual realization. I feel high. I feel good on marijuana. I feel good on drugs. They take that, and they take that as spiritual. So they get confused totally. And very frustrated and angry people. So for them, impersonalism is a relief to free from that. Very good point. Very true. Very good. Okay. Yes, Ram? Yes, we'll come back to him. Thank you. Now, sorry for the delay.
Prabhu, you're actually mentioning about the souls merging into the Brahmajyoti. So who actually reaches Brahmajyoti? What type of body we are talking about? Is it a subtle body we are talking about? If we are saying subtle body, would that have like the mind, intelligence, senses along with the soul?
This access to spirit soul, it's not a material senses anymore, it is spiritual senses. Because of the material sense, you can't go out of the material world. So one has spiritual senses, but they are not fully realized. They are not fully realized. They only understood the impersonal aspect. Because the material world, one you have to leave behind the material body and the material gross body and the subtle body. Okay, so spiritual world will not, you can't take material matter there. This material world is dead matter. It can't go there. Yeah, even Brahmajyoti, because Brahmajyoti has to cross the material world. But we can't go with the material body or material mind and things. Can't take it. But it's not fully developed either, as it is in Golok Vrindavan or Vaikuntha. Not fully developed. Yes.
On this Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, in fact, if you see on the 7th chapter, Krishna says that one who comes with full knowledge only is more dear to me. Now, how do you split Jnana and Bhakti?
See, that's what. So the question is, one who comes in full knowledge is better to me, is better. One who comes to me, this is only the beginning. Okay? So one who is in full knowledge, a Gyan Yogi may have different levels of knowledge also.
Hello.
The lowest level of Gyan Yogi is to know I'm not matter. I'm not this body, that's the lowest level. But that's only the starting point. And then we realize Brahman is beyond that. We realize that I am the spirit soul eternal is also beyond that. So these different levels, even among Gyan there are many levels of realization. And Gyan Yogi in the beginning he starts off by analyzing matter. And then he says I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not that. Sankhya philosophy exactly. But also Krishna says in the Gita and also in the Bhagavatam, the Sankhya is not different from Bhakti. Because eventually it will get you there. So Sankhya is not condemned. But the problem is that Sankhya taught by the impostor Kapila is Mayavad. Is offensive. But Lord Kapila, son of Devahuti, that Sankhya is actually not different from Bhakti. And he says that anyone who considers Sankhya and Bhakti to be different, Pratak Bala, they are childish. Bala means child. They are childish in their understanding. They are immature in their understanding. Does that make sense?
Some people get confused. They said Jnana Yoga is better because Krishna himself has said with knowledge you have to come do Bhakti.
Yeah.
So that more than Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga is better.
Yeah, because you see, the only reason he says in the 7th chapter like that is because the 4 categories of people who come to him, the 3 categories, they have come with a purpose, with a motive, with an agenda. The danger is that if the agenda is fulfilled, they'll go away. Whereas the Jnani, one who's in knowledge, will come to me in knowledge and said he's the best because he is not coming with anything and expecting return. So he is in a better. But these are all starters. We should not think that it's the ultimate. Here Gyan is an entry point. But you see, with Dhruv Maharaj, he came for a kingdom. But even as soon as he got the kingdom, he realized I shouldn't have asked for this. He realized it. So among them, Gyan is considered best as a starter, not as a conclusion. So that's to be understood. No? That's true.
Knowledge of Krishna.
He may not have knowledge of Krishna. Generally, they'll have knowledge that I am not his body. That Jnani level that you're talking about there, yeah, there it is, I am not the body. So that much realization one has, and okay, I am not the body, then who am I? Then he comes to find out about that. That person is welcomed. Also, Krishna welcomes everyone actually. But he's considered the better because he has realized he doesn't want any material gain, he's not in distress, nor is he inquisitive, he's not any of those Artha, Arti, Jigyasu, doesn't want any of those. So therefore he is coming with a clean slate. He already had knowledge of absolute truth and understanding, he already come to that level, he can come very easily. But doesn't mean that's the only path he can come from. So it is superior in the sense that for entry into bhakti it is good because you already realize you're not the body. You had a starting and you don't have other agendas. In that sense it is conducive. But at the same time, that is not the highest. So this is the starter qualifications. That's the Bahunam Janmanamante clarifies that one. Straight after that is that after that only comes. 14, 15 he discussed this. Sorry, 15, 16 is what this verses. 4 who don't come, 4 who come to me. 16 and then 19 is Bahunam Janmanamante. You see the sequence there is very clear, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So that 17th verse he builds up and the 19th verse he comes to the point where he says Bahunam Janmanamante. So after many lifetimes, one is real Jnani, one is really doing that, he'll come to me. Okay? No problem. And yes. Yeah, please.
So he also says in chapter 10, Teshameva Nukampartham Aham Ajnana Jamtamaha Nashyami Atmabhavasto Jnana Dipena Bhashvata. To show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So one who is in bhakti gets the knowledge from within.
Yes. The Lord gives the knowledge.
The Lord gives the knowledge anyway.
Yeah, and he removes ignorance also. The Dami Buddhi Yogamtam, previous verse. Correct. Very good. Good point, yes. So again, that's a very good point she's making. Bhakti is not devoid of jnana anyway. One should not think. Yes, then you get real knowledge. Yeah. 10 chapters already clarified that. Nashasya and then transcendental.
Whether the Jnanis have knowledge about the most confidential knowledge?
No, they will not have. They won't have. That's why they are understanding and not the body. Yeah. So we discuss different levels, right? Whereas the devotee has complete knowledge. Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavat. Until though?
Relating to Ravi Prabhu's question, I said put to my understanding is when we say knowledge is only the means to attain the bhakti or ultimate to realize the Paramatma and Supreme God. So knowledge is not an ultimate; it is a means to attain.
Yeah, it can be the means. It need not be the means also. Can be used as a means, but not necessary. Yeah. Is that point okay?
Yeah.
Well, you finished?
Yeah.
The bike
No, he was turning it off and on, so I was.
No, that's okay. I want to make sure that we have heard you properly, because you guys asking for the mic as you. You are okay, no?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, please.
Prabhu, and the point which I just thought about is you have the Gyan, then you go to the Bhakti, and then when you actually take a participant into the Lord's Leela, you have to forget about the Gyan, that He is the Supreme Lord and everything. Then only you can, like there is a Mahamaya which actually covers that knowledge. Then Yashodamai can think this is my little baby and I have to feed him. So
Yogamaya.
Yeah, Yogamaya. Yogamaya will cover your knowledge again. So you acquire the knowledge, But to participate into the Leela, the Yoga Maya has to cover that knowledge to take the part into the
Leela, correct. So the covering, both are covering, but they are different coverings. Both are covering, but they are different.
That's right.
So one is to serve Krishna, the other is to forget Krishna. Both are covering. One is for service, one is for forgetfulness of Krishna. Mahamaya is for forgetting Krishna, Yoga Maya is to serve Krishna properly. So otherwise, but every time and again Krishna reminds them of Bhagavan. So he cries for milk and gets angry with mommy. The next moment he is killing some demons. That is not ordinary. Baby can't kill demons. 6-month baby is killing Putana, whose body is 6 miles long. So, and then he kills Shakatasura, kills this one, that one. He kills so many demons at such a young age. So he showed that he is Bhagavan. At the same time, he makes them forget also.
As Prabhu was saying, Gyan can be one of the ways of achieving the Lord, but sometimes too much Gyan can turn you away from the Lord. So for that, I remember one pastime in Ramayana when Lord Ram and Lakshman have met Mother Shabari, and she has told them that they should go and make friends with Sugriva, who is living on Rishimik Parvat. And so Lord Ram and Lakshman are searching for Sugriva, and it's a very mountainous territory, and so they're a bit lost. And here Sugriva comes to know through some Nal and Neel that these two princes are walking around. And so they ask Hanuman to go and find out the whereabouts of these two princes. And so Hanuman says, no problem, I will go and find out. And so he goes in the form of a Brahmana. And he keeps on asking so many questions to Lord Ram and Lakshman. And that too in Sanskrit, in very choice Sanskrit. And he's so eloquent in his words that Lord Ram, Lakshmana says, you are only asking so many questions. It looks like you are the messenger of some king who's come to know our whereabouts. And you are such a clever spy that you are only taking information from us, but you are not giving us any information about yourself or your king. And then finally he says, okay, we are the sons of King Dasharatha. Here is my elder brother Ram and I am Lakshman. So as soon as he hears that Hanuman in the form of that Brahmana starts crying, and he says, my lord, you didn't recognize me. I am your eternal servant. So then Lord Ram says, yes, I would have recognized you, but you hid yourself with all that eloquence and all that jnana which you were shooting at me. So because of that, I got so bewildered that I didn't reveal myself. How will the Lord not know his eternal servant? But then he's showing us that if we are too knowledgeable, that can be an obstacle. So even in the case of the wives of the Brahmanas, they recognized the Lord and they sent the prasadam. Whereas the Brahmanas were so proud of their education, their knowledge, that it put them off. So Jnana can be an obstacle, but for preaching we need Jnana. I used to think, oh my God, if I just chant nicely, that's enough. And sometimes in those hall programs, they were coming and asking me such intellectual questions. It should be so intellectual that I'll get paralyzed. So I thought, oh my God, I can't understand all this. You ask Prabhu. So in such cases, it's better to know what to answer. For that we need Jnana. But that does not have to be the ultimate thing. Because it's from the heart, like Jananand Maharaj, he says, Bhakti is from here, not from here. It's not from the head, it's from the heart. Yeah.
Good, very good. Yes, Jnana versus Bhakti is a long debate. And we can see from this. Bahu Granthi. Yeah, because they have Bhinna Mata, they have different opinions. Each scholar has different opinion, each Shastra gives different understanding. One can get very confused, very true. So the other point Prabhupada makes here is two words, Saguna and Nirguna. What does Saguna mean? Oh, Jitendra. Yeah, okay.
I just have a question about what exactly the Brahmajyoti is. A few weeks ago, I don't remember who it was either you or Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj were saying that the Brahman is nothing but countless souls put together, and that's what composes the Brahman. And I've heard others say that Brahman is a spiritual space in which souls exist. So which of the two is it? Is it just souls put together, or is it a place where souls exist?
Okay. It is both. It is both, because you see, Brahman means spirit, and Brahman is all pervading. Brahman is the basis for this whole material creation. Like in this material world, for example, take this universe for example. What is the source of energy for the whole universe? Sun. Now what is the source of energy of the sun? So you see how that is connected that way. At the same time, we also say Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman, the spirit soul. So everything is Brahman, and that Brahmanoi Pratishtaham is coming from Krishna. Therefore Krishna is referred to as Parabrahma. Whereas everything else is Brahman. Krishna is Parabrahma, everything else coming from him is Brahman. In one of the interview questions, my Guru Maharaj is asking, the second invitation, not first invitation, relax. He asked, is Brahman in this room? What do you say, yes or no? Yes. Both in the form of Jiva as well as in the form of energy. The sunlight is there. So Brahman is everywhere. He asked a trick question. Is he in the room? Can you show me Brahman? Yes, every living being is one aspect of Brahman, but that's not the only aspect. That's why I said both. As long as you understand there is Parabrahma and there is Brahman.
But when we talk about Brahman as a place, as a destination for those who achieve at least Brahman realization,
yes,
is it a place or is it just...
It is a space between the material creation. Look at that picture there.
This one.
Go up beyond that, the light blue patch, but not quite Vaikuntha.
In between.
Yeah.
It's like a lost satellite.
Between the spiritual world and material world.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Brahman also extends into the material universe also in the form of the sun, in the form of jivas. So that's also there. Okay. So there is beyond the material world, and before reach Vaikuntha, that is called the Brahmajyoti. That's where the effulgence is. The Brahmajyoti doesn't come into the material world. Natat bhasati surya na shashanka na pavaka. So think after Krishna says that the spiritual world is illuminated by the Brahmajyoti. The illumination is there. But it is that zone between the material, out of the material world, but not making it to Vaikuntha. That's where the four Kumaras were. Okay. Now, having said that, we have to understand one thing. Once we cross the material universe, the spiritual world there's no time space, there's no X, Y, Z coordinates. So it does get very confusing. So it is very difficult for us to understand. So that's why all this says is beyond the material world, out of the jail, as Nandagopal is saying. That's all we can understand at this point in time. But there at least one thing is sure, there is no birth and death. Prabhupada says, birth, death, disease, old age are conspicuous by their absence. That's all you can describe really. What else can you say? And Prabhupada also said it's very lonely there. If you are in Vaikuntha, you have devotees there. You have the Lord is there. But in Brahmajyoti, nobody is there. You are out there by yourself.
Okay. That light blue space, is that composed of many souls, or is it composed of something like
the light is
eternity and knowledge?
Yeah, it's got Jyoti, light is there. There's light.
Okay.
The energy of the Lord is there. And there are souls also floating in there. Also there, yes. Both are there. That's what I'm saying. Anything other than Krishna is Parabrahman. Everything else is Brahman only. No? Krishna means Narayana also all included. All the Vishnu forms, they are all Parabrahman. Other than that, the jivas come for part of Brahman only. That's why you say Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. But you are a part of the Brahman, a particle, not unlimited. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains Achinta Bheda Veda Tattva. Simultaneously one and different. We are also Brahman, Krishna is also Brahman. But he is Parabrahman, we are tiny Brahman. Simultaneously one and different. They are same in quality, but not in quantity. Drop of water in the ocean and the whole ocean. Right?
Brahman as a living entity in its perfectional stage is composed of Satchit and Ananda. That's the Vigraha.
Yeah, okay, now, okay.
That's the spiritual body.
Yeah, but it's not full.
Right.
Not full.
Right. Now, is the Brahman also composed of Satchit and Ananda?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, not full. That's what I'm saying, not full. Let me explain what I meant by not full. Sat is there as understanding I'm not the body, I'm not matter. Chit is there, so Sat is there that I'm eternal, okay? And Chit is there, knowledge that I'm not his body, I'm spirit, soul, I'm eternal. And Ananda is a Brahmananda, that's what Krishna says. But not Premananda or Sevananda, that's not there. Those Anandas, higher Anandas are not there. But that Ananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, is more like absence of suffering than real happiness. And he gives the example of a prisoner who is dunked in the dunking tank. The prisoner is being punished, he's pushed underwater. And he's struggling for breath. And as soon as he's going to die, they pull him out just to get a little breath so they can punish him again. So when he comes out, he thinks, oh, I'm enjoying life, I can breathe. But he's supposed to breathe anyway. Being underwater is unnatural, but coming out of the water feels like you are in bliss. One time there's a story of Akbar and Birbal. Akbar had a baby boy, and everyone excited. Oh, king has got a prince, and this is so wonderful. And he asked Birbal, what do you think about it? How do you feel about this news? He said, I feel like how I feel when I just come out of the toilet. And Akbar was very annoyed. What do you mean? Prince is born, it should be celebrating, it should be a lot more enthusiastic than this, you know. You're I feel like I just come out of the toilet. So what do you mean you have come out of the toilet? You're being very arrogant, aren't you, again? Being cheeky. You better explain this, otherwise I'm going to punish you. So then Birbal as usually says, Samayane pe, which is Samay pe, right time I'll give the answer. Don't ask me the answer now. The right time I'll give the answer. So one day he arranged for Akbar to have a lot of food and drink a lot of water. And he took him on a boat ride in the middle of a lake. And there's no toilets there. And Akbar wanted to go to the toilet. He said, please take me to the toilet. He said, too far, Maharaj, you can't go now. Wait, you have to wait. And somehow he brought him back to the land and he rushed to the toilet. And Akbar relieved himself and came out. And then Birbal asked, how do you feel now? I feel so relaxed, I feel so relieved. He said, why? Because I managed to get it off. So my school and everything went out. I feel so peaceful now. Do you feel happy? He said, the same thing is giving birth to a child also. You're carrying for 9 months and you get the baby out. You feel, oh, what a relief. Right, Hema? How many more months to go? 2 months, yes. Mother's job is so difficult. No? She can't say, I'll put this baggage somewhere else. Let's take a break. 9 months you have to carry. So like that, the feeling of the pleasure is simply absence of pain. That is considered pleasure, but not real happiness. So that doesn't satisfy us. Is that okay?
If anyone wants to get the Brahmajyoti experience, they just have to do one thing in that temple. Just have a low resolution camera and try to point it towards the deities. I had that experience when I went to, I think last week to the temple. I had my computer with it and I was pointing it to the deities. On the deities, the light is so dark there, the camera cannot pick up the actual form of the deity, it just picks up the light. And I actually captured that photo and sent it to someone. And they said, I can't see any deities. I said, that's the Brahmajyoti, you know.
Might be more like AGL Jyoti.
That's right. So,
origin Jyoti.
Anyone who likes to feel the Brahmajyoti, they can themselves see that in a temple.
You're not qualified for darshan. Then you have to sing Isha Parishad prayer. Please remove the covering. That's to make the devotee more enthusiastic for eager for darshan. Very good. Okay, the other point Bhagavat makes here is the Nirguna and Saguna aspect of the Lord. The personal form and the impersonal form. Nirguna is means no gunas, no material qualities. So Nirguna, the impersonalists, they think Nirguna means the Lord has no qualities. Whereas devotees say Nirguna means he has no material qualities. But he also has Saguna, where it means he has spiritual qualities. Because the Mayavadis have no information about spiritual qualities, they assume that Nirguna means no material qualities, no qualities at all. They don't know the Saguna aspect of the Lord. So Lord, he reconciles all these opposites. So therefore, when we go to the temple, the Mayavadis, they think that this is just a brass or wood or metal or marble deity form only. It's just like a doll. And they don't see Krishna there. But devotees can see Krishna there. So even though there's material elements, the Lord by His mercy, causeless mercy, manifests through the material elements to accept service from the devotees and to have loving exchanges with devotees. So for the devotee, the Lord is personally present, and for the atheists, they see that as the impersonal form of the Lord. I think Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, he tells the story of, Jayaprak Maharaj also tells the story of Jagannath deity in Rajapur, where the Muslim boy went there and he was offered prasadam by the pujari and he threw it away. And that night he had a dream, and in that dream, he was actually, then the next day he came back to the temple and asked for prasad. The pujari said, yesterday I gave prasad, you threw it away. What happened to you today? Why are you asking for it now? He said, in my dream, these two personalities, black and white, they came and they were very angry with me. The white one was saying, you threw my brother's prasadam away, you're an offender, aparadi, and hitting him. And one of the yellow faced somebody saying, yeah, get him, hit him hard. It's a nonsense, this guy is accused of prasadam. And the black one was saying, it's alright, he's just ignorant fool, just leave him alone, don't bother. He's not doesn't mean anything bad. It's okay. So I said, I got so scared, and they're really going to punch me. So I just come back and say, please give me prasad. The Muslim guy, but he should come and take prasad from our temple. There are so many like that actually. I was going the rickshaw last time I was in Mayapur, and the rickshawala, his name was, asked him, what's your name? He said, Muhammad. And he's a Muslim guy. So I told him, how do you feel in Mayapur? He's born and brought up in Mayapur. He's a Muslim. He said, oh, ISKCON has come, has done very good. ISKCON has done great service. Prabhupada has done great service. So what do you mean? See, before I had to get only 5 rupees for my bhada. Now I'm paying 50 rupees. In fact, I own a piece of land in Mayapur. And I'm constructing my own house. Which rickshawala in this world can build his own house? He's saying not totally material angle. But he's also appreciating that the Lord is, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they accept, he is the worshipping Lord Chaitanya. He said, Gauranga Bhakta. But he still is a Muslim. I'm Gauranga Bhakta. I said, Jai Prabhupada, Jai, at least for the money. Whatever motivation he has, he is there. So the devotees, they are hidden devotees. They are actually devotees, but they are covered by. They come to temple, take prasad. Many times Guru Maharaj asked them, you don't have any problem for a mullah, you come take prasad and he's come. Prasad is nice. What a mullah says, prasad is good. We like prasad. So the impersonal aspect, the Muslims, they worship the impersonal aspect of the Lord also. But they assume that the Lord has no material qualities, that means he has no qualities. But second aspect is saying that he has the spiritual qualities. Okay?
Here it is. Here it comes. I can use both.
We were discussing that the deity form of the Lord, while seemingly composed of material qualities, is actually absolute.
Correct.
So, how do we explain it when deities are damaged? Like, for example, during the Christchurch earthquake, the Gauranithai deities were damaged beyond repair. So if they're absolute, how could they have been damaged that way?
The Lord may decide to unmanifest from that form after some time. Like in Jagannath Puri, approximately every 13 years, it varies the different calculation, sometimes 14, sometimes approximately 13 years, to replace the deities. And those deities are, old deities are buried somewhere. One place is there, no? Even there. What is that place called? Yeah, I forgot that place. Yeah. They have the deities buried there. Old and new deities are made. So the Lord can decide to manifest through some deities and then come to another set of deities.
Aniket, get up.
It doesn't make that form material. Yeah, that's right. He appears and disappears. Even in the form of deity as he is now, he is manifest to only those who are devotees. For those who are not devotees, he is not manifest. Even as same deity. Why talk of another deity? So in the Shilpa Shastra, in the sculpture, they say that if the deity is damaged beyond a certain level, then you can't use them. But if they are still repairable, then you can repair and continue. Because they have been installed by a pure devotee, so you should not stop worshiping them. First,
Lord knows everything. If Lord is getting damaged, that also Lord knows.
Yeah, he's not damaged anyway. He's not affected in any way.
So what we see from the material eyes, it is damaged.
Correct.
But actually, Lord knows what is going to happen in the future and what is happening in the past as well. So it is my material eye that we see that is damaged. And I'll just give you one. Probably you might have heard about this story. In Vrindavan, when Mughals were there, they were invading all the temples of Vrindavan.
Yes.
So, see the Lord, he came in the dream of the Pujari and said, they are going to attack this temple, please take me away. And that's how many Radha Krishna deity have moved from Vrindavan to Rajasthan under the protection of Rajput there. Except Radha Ramana temple, as far as I remember. So that's how it is. Lord knows everything, what is going to happen. And so Lord can manifest in that deity, in that murti, and he can unmanifest as well. It is his choice. We can't say what.
So we have to understand that it is absolute. Whether in deity form or any form, his form is absolute. It's not material.
Jitendra Prabhu was talking about the deities in Christchurch, and the Pujari and all those devotees who were there, they went unscathed, not a scratch on their bodies.
There you go.
But the deities gave up their bodies in order to save them. That is what some of the devotees are saying.
Yeah, then you gave up the bodies, but they protected the devotees by taking the blow. The earthquake fell on them rather than on the devotees.
I was reminded of how even in the Ramayana, when this Indrajit or Ravana only, he's got a special weapon kept aside for Vibhishana. He says he was such a traitor, he left me and went off to the side of my so-called enemy. So when I face him in battle, I'm going to kill him with this weapon. So when he comes onto the battle, he releases that weapon towards Vibhishana, and Lord Ram goes forward and he takes that blow on himself. So the Lord chose to protect his devotees.
Very good
like
point.
that.
Yeah, very nice. Very good. You want to add the same question?
Even in Jagannath Puri, Neela Madhav, how he appeared, and then he again how he disappeared, even though he was being so nicely worshipped by Shabdas, and later on he reappeared as Jagannath Baladev.
Yes, very good point. So Lord can change his forms also. Like Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he had a deity and Salikram form. And he said, I can't dress you. Yes, when he became deity form, he could dress him. Can you go?
Just two questions. First, what's a Shilpa Shastra?
There's a science of sculpture. So, how deities are carved, its proportions, and what material to use, what material not to use. There's a whole Vedic section, part of the Vedas, that deals with that. How to carve deities. Sculpture.
And when deities are seemingly damaged and the Lord chooses not to manifest in them anymore, are those deities that were damaged still considered transcendental even after the Lord?
Yes, they're always transcendental. They never lose the transcendental nature. But if they're damaged beyond repair, then we can't serve them. If the hand is missing, leg is missing, or something is gone, it's not tasteful for devotee to see the Lord with features missing or something like that. It's not proper for bhakti. So beyond a certain standard, it's not accepted.
So what do you do with the deities that have been damaged in that way?
Like when Jagannath Puri, they buried them in a particular place. Kalevara Stana. You're going to tell me that? Oh, thank you. Suddenly, wavelength match. Yeah. They dig the same spot is not there. Of course, yeah. And this is all completely transcendental. Exactly opposite of that in Rajapur Jagannath, the deities were underground for many, many years because of Muslim invasion, and they were undamaged. And their deities are made of wood. And white ants like to eat, termites like to eat wood only. That place has got a lot of white ants, but they did not eat the deities. Yeah, so you see, it's all inconceivable how the Lord. That's a very good example of how deities are transcendental. They were buried for many, many years, thousands of years, underground, with white ants, termites around them, and the white ants did not eat the deities. They are not slightly damaged. Undamaged they came out, and they came in a dream of that Ganguli. They have little dioramas around the temple. They're showing map. Yeah.
I got this Jagannath, the pendant. It's got the dust from the previous Jagannath's body.
Oh, Kalevara Stan. Okay. After the class, you can pass it around and everyone can check. And the dust is sell that, yeah.
It's called Jagannath Puri.
You take a little bit of the dust, the little bit of dust they take and put in there and make it like a little
Show them card.
Yeah.
Show them card.
You have a second question. Okay, good. You have to use microphone, no?
Like as
Can't hear. You have to use the microphone properly. A bit closer.
That's right.
in case if the deities get damaged, like maybe for example in Jagannath deity, if the hand is like just cracked, and again they say that you're not supposed to worship and you have to be buried. So there has like we can't take the deities to Jagannath Puri or places, but at the same time we should not worship. So how to go about the whole thing and what should be done?
Yeah, for these things these are technical matters. They should be discussed with the deity worship ministry or the GVC or spiritual masters and take the decision accordingly. I have to give a general answer. Small damage can be repaired locally and you can carry on. If there's something major, then you have to get proper guidance, depending on the case by case. And it depends on devotees also. Like for example, in our temple some years ago, Prabhupada's one finger broke. One devotee was blessing him and he dropped something and did some mistake and one finger broke. So we are trying to fix that, but one devotee said no, I want Prabhupada deity to be nice. So he went and ordered a special deity what we have now, deity Prabhupada made from Los Angeles, and he got imported. And we did installation of the new deity of Prabhupada. The old deity is still there doing the value work. They are repairing. That the devotee felt like that. No? So those case by case situations will vary. Have to give a general statement. I've asked this question to Bhanu Maharaj also when we had some problems with some of our deities. He said, no, you can continue worshiping. Have to stop. Not have to stop.
Yeah, because attachment is built with that deity.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the stance of Prabhupada. So small defects and problems, they can be rectified and we continue the worship. But not where the deity's hands are missing, legs are missing, then obviously it's not appropriate. Then that's not a proper meditation. So. But still we treat that body of deity with respect, whether it's damaged or good condition, the respect is the same, but may not be kept on the altar and worshipped. That's the only difference. Krishna Lord? You've got a mic.
I may be wrong, but people say normally you should do the Visarjan, you should put in the river or the ocean.
Water also, yeah.
Visarjan, so that nobody can touch, directly. Your legs should not touch that deity.
Yeah.
So Visarjan should be done properly.
Yeah.
If you do Visarjan, that's how we do the Visarjan of Ganpati and other things.
Yeah, but see that Visarjan there is a materialistic understanding, unfortunately. I finished with my business, we go now. So that's, yeah. That's not, I mean, an example is given of that, but yeah, as a devotee it's a little bit painful. Not a little, very painful actually. So it's not a harsh way to say someone can go. Yeah. Anyway, that's how it is. Okay, we are really running short of time. I want to finish the purport. It's a very long purport also. We'll read only one more paragraph and then we can, if there was not read. Mahesh, you want to read the paragraph? Next paragraph. A crude example. Please use the microphone. So I'll do this.
A crude example may be given here. We may find some mailboxes on the street, and if we post our letters in the boxes, they will naturally go to the destination without difficulty. But any old box or an imitation which may be found somewhere, but which is not authorized by the post office, will not do the work. Similarly, God has an authorized representation in the deity form, which is called Akra Vigraha. This Akra Vigraha is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. God will accept service through that form. The Lord is omnipresent, all-powerful, therefore by His incarnation and Akra Vigraha, He can accept the services of the devotee, just to make it convenient for the man in conditioned life.
Thank you. That's good. So this is the section about the deity form, the Lord. Here in this verse, Krishna is talking about that the path on the impersonal path is very difficult, very troublesome. So personal form is easier to connect. And but that does not mean you should think that the impersonal, the personal form, the deity form of the Lord is material. The Mayavadis think like that, the deity form is material. But for devotees, he has no difficulty. He knows I can approach the Lord through his personal form, therefore I can render service to him. Okay, so this has got a long purport. We'll do that next time because it's a very long purport. We will complete it next time. And we'll do 6 and 7. So this section up to 12.1 to 12.7 is establishing basically the personal and impersonal understanding and how bhakti is superior to impersonal understanding. So that part is clarified here. And from 8 to 12 we'll study the different stages of devotion. In bhakti there are different levels. We're going to study about that. And then the last section is the qualities of a pure devotee, which are very endearing to Krishna. 13 to 20. It's a small chapter, 20 verses. So I think with after this and next verse which is ready to go.
Aniket and Aditya, get out.
Any other questions or comments? Shimariko, can you give the microphone to him? Yeah.
Not related to this class, Prabhu, but just a question because I got talking to one non-devotee. I'm just relating. So Prabhupada said that, if we are not Krishna conscious, then we must be hallucinating to go back to Godhead. So the question which this person was saying is that fine, I agree that you've got a path and that's fine and you can go back to Godhead. But I don't agree with you that the other paths do not take you back to Godhead. I'm not talking about the four sampradayas, but I'm talking about like he was talking about Christianity, Islam, and other religions, that they do not take us back to Godhead, or basically they are not the right paths. So how do we explain this to a non-devotee that they are not the paths? And I did mention that you've got to be if you are a Christian, then be a true Christian.
Right.
But relating it back to Prabhupada's comment, but will it still take the Christians back to Godhead, even if they are true Christians? Will it take them back to Godhead because they are serving Christ, who's Son of God?
Yeah.
They're not serving Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I'm just trying to extend both and trying to.
Yeah. Well, see, this Hindu, Muslim, Christian is irrelevant, totally irrelevant. The point here is, if you are engaged in devotion service, you come close to Krishna. If you are not engaged in devotion service, you remain a material world. That's all. Whether it's a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist, anybody engaged in devotion and in service, still one can make some progress, because one gives the Bhakti entry point can be from anywhere. Bhakti is not disqualifying anyone. In Nectar of Devotion, it's explained clearly that even the Lord Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna. The worshippers of Buddha are not considered devotees. They also offered full arti. We went to a Buddhist temple here when we were looking for land for our temple. We went to the Buddhist temple near Schofield. And we saw the Buddhist temple. They do full arti and everything. They have deity of Buddha, everything is there. But they are not considered devotees because Buddha rejected the idea of God. But it does not mean they can't become devotees. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he made a Buddhist from the devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained. Even though they tried to feed him meat, they tried to poison him with meat covered, but they said it was prasadam covered, underneath was meat. So they asked him to eat that. But before he could eat, an eagle came, picked up the plate. The first time, right? He took the plate high in the sky and dropped it on top of the head of the Buddhist teacher. The teacher was unconscious. And the disciples were all looking scared. The guru is unconscious, probably dead even. They didn't know what to do. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then, he asked them to chant Hare Krishna. Still the guru is not awake, not conscious. So then he said, okay, now disciples, you give the mantra to the guru. So the disciple told the mantra in the right ear of the guru, then he woke up. He got initiated by his disciple. That was changed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made them all, they all became devotees after that.
So Prabhu, what we are saying is that ultimately they'll come back to the path of devotion.
They might come back to the path. Yeah, they might. They can, rather. Not that they will. They can.
The other point that the discussion went on was, so Christ, was he a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, and that in all those things that they have the wine and that's taken as the. So again now. And I've condemned that, as far as eating non-vegetarian is concerned, that will never take us back. So, but then, was Christ a vegetarian? And do we have a
Okay, before we go on to that point, Prabhupada did say, don't get involved in debates about Bible or anything. The things are not substantiated. We can't say this is right or that is right. Nothing is conclusive there. First thing remember, okay? Now we can hear.
On that how Jesus is actually a vegetarian. There's a whole film documentary, and also there's one more film where Christ was missing for 12 years. That time he was in Jagannath Puri practicing devotional service and sadhana.
Yeah, so those things are there, but Prabhupada did advise them not to go too much into that because those things are not, they may not be accepted as authority. Like Gita is authority, we have authority. So he said, there are so many evidences like that. He learned art of healing, for example. He learned that in Puri. He met with the yogis and learned from them. But we don't want to, because those are not accepted as authority. So for us, internally we can accept it. We don't have difficulty accepting it. But we may not use that to convince others. So they may argue against it. Better not go into that ground.
Christianity and Islamism and Krishna conscious and Christianity and similarly like Krishna conscious and Islamism. So you can read those books.
Yeah, different books are available. So devotees have done research on that. And there are references in Bhavishya Purana also of Isha, as to Jesus' appearance and all are there. So when you go to our Puranas, these are in safe ground. because these are accepted, they are substantiated. Whereas statements of the Bible, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder, who knows what, they'll change it. It's very tricky ground. Yeah, we can understand Jesus as a vegetarian, but they give example like in the situation where Jesus ate fish, for example. They say that. Now, how authentic is that? We don't know. So the point is, if they don't accept our words, we don't have to accept their words either. In a debate, it's a two-way traffic, right? If you say we don't accept you, okay, we don't accept you either. Goodbye. So no point getting into debate there. But for your knowledge, yes, we can read. We can read about that for our understanding, though we cannot use it for preaching, unless you're really good in that topic. They know the topic. So reading the books might help. If you've got a special interest in it, you can find out many things.
I think it's perfect questions and perfect answers. Somebody asked Prabhupada, Jesus Christ ate me. Then Prabhupada replies that Jesus Christ was God, so he can do anything he wants. He can eat the whole world. We should not try to imitate it.
Very good answer. So you see, he didn't go into the point of whether he did eat or not eat. He didn't take that point. He said he can eat anything. So that's the point he took. And that's a very good answer. Yeah, very good point. Glad you brought it up. So the people get fascinated by these controversies, and they relish a lot of, they get a lot of pleasure from this. Whereas for devotees, this is not so interesting, not so tasteful. Rather, we hear about Krishna and thank Krishna's name. But for the sake of preaching, we should know something. You can always say, look, I'm not expert in Bible, I can't discuss this with you. Or if you read the books and not use the books, that's good activity with that, and be good at it, be thorough. Janardhan Prabhu. Yeah.
Prabhu, this question comes out of Srimari Prabhu's comment that he made. Now, we know that Hare Nama, that unless we chant the name of Hari, there is no other way in Kali Yuga.
Right.
Now, for a Christian or a Muslim, he may be a perfect Christian and a perfect Muslim, but then there's nowhere mentioned, I don't know, but then I think there's no way because they don't chant the name of Hari. So is there a way for them to get out of this Kali Yuga? If they are perfect Christians and perfect Muslims, but they may not be chanting the name of Hari.
See, when you are saying you are a perfect Christian, it says that hallowed be thy name, so they have to chant. How can they not chant? Hallowed be thy name is definitely there.
They have the beads and chanting beads. And
the rosary beads are there.
Yeah, but my question was, it's not Hari, it's not.
Yeah, so they are called secondary names of God. In the Harinam Chintamani, Haridas Thakur explains, there is the primary names of God like Krishna, Govinda, Rama, all that. And there are the secondary names of God like Paramatma and all that, which are not directly the personal names of the Lord, not a pastime related, not a devotee related. Yashodanandani, Yashoda related. Devakinandani, Devaki related like that. If they are not related to any devotee or pastime, they are called secondary names of Parameshwar and all that. Paramatma. So the secondary names of God are the ones that can take you to the border of Vaikuntha but can't give full liberation. The chanting secondary names of God. So they'll get some benefit. But eventually what happens is that chanting the even secondary names of God, they will come in contact with the devotee who will help them become devotees. That's how throughout the Western world we have so many devotees. Because some devotees, starting with Prabhupada, they made the effort to talk to these people and help them to become devotees.
So one question.
This is the last one, yeah.
Lord Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita 2.71, a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and he is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Then he said, that is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Lord Krishna has given formula even for Christians, that if you are free from desires for sense gratification and lives free from desires, who has given all sense of proprietorship and devoid of false ego, you can go back to Godhead.
Yeah, back to God also means how far he will go, whether go to Brahma Jyoti or whether go to what form of liberation is another topic there. It is a big topic. I think we should discuss that next time. Because when he says to go back, he can go back to the various stages. There is also Brahman.
He's telling one can enter into the kingdom of.
Yeah, that's true. But it depends on the understanding. There can still be impersonal understanding. There are different shades of that. He's out of the material world, let's put it that way. So where he ends up with which of the 5 kinds of liberation he gets is a different thing. Yeah. So in summary, that they can become devotees, but they have to have the mercy of the devotee eventually. What they're doing is devotional service, because Jesus is the Son of God. He's a pure devotee. And Prabhupada said he's a guru. Before then he will go back to Godhead. But one has to meet the criteria that Prabhupada Krishna has said, and have relationship with the Lord to go back to the Lord. Of actually chanting his primary names. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya, some form. See, again, we are chanting Hare Krishna in the order of Prabhupada and order of Lord Chaitanya. Not because we like the sounds of the word. So that motivation and that instruction is very important. Okay. Thank you. Alright, what is it? The book? Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita ki. So Matav Kukurnath is going to read from the holy name.
Yes, VIjay Gopis Prabhu ki.
Kamveda Bhaktavinda ki.
Hare Krishna, the reading from the Jewels of Nectar by Kadamba Swami. We have the holy name, and surely it will be successful, without a doubt, because the holy name is so powerful. Nothing can obstruct it, because the holy name is Krishna, and what is in the world can obstruct Krishna? Nothing. He is supremely powerful, and the name is non-different from him. So the name is supremely powerful. What are we worried about? Chant Hare Krishna and everything will be great. Hare Krishna.
Just one quick thing.
Yeah, you go, Mata.
Last week, I was just talking about how before every round we can request the Lord, may I not have the anxiety to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Let us make that our goal. I hope many of you have tried that. I tried it, but I can say I'm no better than what I was last week. At least I feel like that. But they say that the more you try, the more the subtle body has all these desires for name, fame and glory and all those anarthas. So the subtle body keeps reducing. At least if we are intending like that, the subtle body keeps reducing.